You all mentioned something about like self-care, if I'm not mistaken. At least two of y'all did.
Mhm.
We're gonna roll that over into this. Let's talk self-care. I know y'all practice self-care. I don't have any children on the panel. We have grown women. So I know y'all take care of yourselves. Keisha, I got froze for a second. I was trying to do my little random picker wheel.
It's okay.
Keisha,
Hmm.
what are some of the things you do to practice self-care?
This is going to sound crazy. My neighbors look at me like I'm crazy. So, you do your running around, your errands. I had to go to the market, go to the post office. I will pull up in my driveway and sit there for 15 minutes and listen to music and scroll on my phone. I am not getting out the car. My kids is like, "Mom, what you doing? Just leave me alone. I'll be in the house. Just leave me. Just let me do my thing." And I will sit in that car and scroll, listen to a little Bruno Mars. You know what I'm saying? Just get my thoughts together. Go through my calendar. Who do I got to email back? Let me email the school. Tell them get my thoughts together. And then when I have my little 15, 20 minutes in the driveway, I come on in the house. I'm going to come back. But just let me have those minutes to myself. So that's probably the funniest thing that I consider self care. Sometimes on Sunday mornings, the girls will laugh at me. I'll get up. First thing I do is go out into my garden. That's my other thing. Like, I love my garden. So I'll go out in my garden. I know my neighbor Michelle will look out. She's like, she's out there again. I'm out there just the pruning and the picking and the prodding and the admiring. And then, I come on in. But I've learned that being alone, just by myself with my thoughts, quiet, just time for myself, just with me is okay. And I think that a lot of times, as Black women, we move in clusters. It's usually girlfriends, significant others, children, family. But what I've learned is it's important for you to spend time with you. It's important. Yeah.
Very important. Very important. Tier one, let's take it to you. Self-care.
Self care for me is early in the morning. I like to get up and meditate. Sometimes listen to affirmations and just quietness. I just like quietness because I kind of respect the elders when they say they didn't want to hear any noise because they just want quiet, and you just like be quiet. I just want quietness now, and
Uh-huh.
and and that's how I got into natural health with yoni steaming, and just because we I know I have tried to run to other things and compromise with other things to find happiness or peace or anything of that nature. But when it all settles, when it's all done and you at home by yourself, those thoughts are there. So I learned to not run from my thoughts, but sit down with my thoughts and say, it's gonna be okay. You know, it might not have did this right, but I can do it again. Or I don't need to do that again. It's okay. But I feel like the most thing you need to do is basically give yourself time to hear yourself and to tell yourself. I stand in the mirror and tell myself I love myself. And that is something I just started in the last couple of years. And I used to cry when I used to do that early in the morning because that's something I was used to telling everybody else I love them, but not saying I love me. And so I encourage anybody, give yourself that. Just when you're brushing your teeth, just look up and say, I love you. And it will really make a difference in your life. It really will.
Thank you for that.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much because listening to how you just put that, that makes so much sense. Some people don't understand the power of looking at yourself in the mirror, just you and the man in the mirror. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Or just speaking positive words over yourself, speaking positivity into yourself, pouring back into yourself, not pouring into anybody else, not the kids, no, not to the kids, not the dogs, not the elderly, not the neighbors, yourself, just you one on one. Doc, Dr. Jackson.
How do I take care of myself? Well, one thing
Yes.
I do is I exercise regularly. People don't really they underestimate how important exercise is for your mental health too. When you exercise, your body releases these nice little endorphins that make you feel better. So it's a natural way to manage anxiety and depression. And so I can tell when I'm not working out regularly because I'm more sluggish, my mood is all stanky. And so I know that is important for me to make sure I work out at least like I get about 5 days a week. I also practice yoga and I'm a yoga teacher too. And so yoga is very beneficial in managing like just life. You get a moment to sit and breathe and be with yourself, your breath and your body. And that helps me stay grounded. I can tell when I'm not practicing yoga regularly because I'm like my thoughts are all over the place. My feelings are all over the place. And I'm like, I need to get grounded. So it's a good way for me to ground myself. And I'm going to circle back to what somebody said earlier, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is important for self-care. You got to learn how to say no. Like I was one of those people too that had a hard time saying no. Like, yeah, I'll volunteer for this. I'll help with this. I'll help with that. And then I'm all spent up and I have nothing left for myself. And so if anything I learned during this pandemic is being able to slow down and be at peace with not being busy. So being able to be still, take some time in the peace and quiet and be one with myself. And I do sit in my car too before I come in the house.
I mean, listen,
It's
I
fun.
am
I'm just
guilty.
saying it's fun. You in the
I'm
car
telling
screaming
you.
Whitney
I'm
Houston to the
telling
top of your lungs. It's fun.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Listen,
hmm
y'all hit the nail on the head with that now. Dr. Jackson, I want to ask you something on a professional level.
Uh-huh.
Your patients or whoever you deal with, without breaking your confidentiality agreement, do you tell your patients or clients about self-care?
Oh, yes. All the time. All the time. Because a lot of times when people are like stressed out, I go back and look at like, what are you doing? First and foremost, are you taking care of yourself? That's something that we look at immediately. Like you're suffering, you're having a hard time. How are you taking care of yourself? I always ask people that. And then I help them establish a plan on how they're going to take care of themselves. Because so many,
Inspired.
especially women, especially Black women, we're the last person on the list to take care of. So I'm like, this is your time that you see me once a week where you can take care of you and nobody else.